Hey, what's going on, everybody? Movie fan, I'm here. Of course, I'm joined by my little girlfriend Maya. And yes, we got another crazy double feature for you. We got, I'm gonna see if I can get this right here, Isola, Multiple Personality Girl, and Sinister. Bam, look at that. Hitting you with something mainstream and hitting you with something fucking so obscure and ridiculous. Alright, here we go. We're gonna start off with Isola, Multiple Personality Girl. 2000, and it's odd. I didn't plan it this way, but it's another Asian horror film that deals with multiple personalities. We had that last week. The fuck was last week's movie? I don't even remember. We literally just did that. That's how forgettable that last movie was. Fuck it. Anyways, if you guys have been following along, maybe you'll remember. I'm drawing a blank temporarily. The basic plot of this movie is, and if I mispronounce the names, please forgive me. I'm an ignorant American. I apologize. I'm apologizing. But I think it's Kobe, Japan. There's a huge earthquake, and it's devastating. I could be wrong once again. Don't know. It may be based on an actual earthquake that happened in the mid '90s. I don't really know. But anyways, it just devastates this area. 1,000 people were killed. This woman goes down there, and you get the sense that there's something kind of off about her anyway, but she goes down there to help out. She's, part of the volunteer process to, help out the area. And when she's down there, she meets this girl. And there's something about the girl, and the thing is, the other little, and this is this odd, it comes out of nowhere, because it even comes to her out of nowhere. The main girl, she can read minds. And that's when she meets this other girl who has multiple personalities. And they just kind of like form this, friendship, this bond, if you will. Well, thing is, there is this slew of murders happening around or whatever. And so she's trying to figure out, exactly what's going down. Now, you did not watch all of it. You went to bed toward the end. Yeah. But what did you think about what you did see?
Okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, come on. Oh shit, there's more. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're so mean. She's angry all the time. So, it was very slow moving. I don't think it was quite as bad as last week's movie. What the fuck was last week's movie? I am so blanking on that. It's another, odd title. Fuck it. Anyways,
wasn't about that.
Embalming. Last week's movie was Embalming. I just remembered. It hit me. Embalming. It wasn't nearly as slow moves as Embalming, but it just seemed very, and it definitely had more horror in it than last week's movie, but it just seemed to be, I don't know, typical, I guess. I don't want to say typical because clearly it's a different kind of story, really. But at the same time, it never seemed fresh, intriguing, or the case may be. I assumed, and I was completely wrong, but as I'm watching it, I assumed the main girl also had multiple personalities. She was taking some kind of medication the whole time, and they never quite explained why she was taking this medication. But it did have the same similar type of Asian horror feel. Girl trying to solve a mystery, and of course the whole time she's solving it, it's like a race against time because now she's being hunted by whatever it is. Where the real curveball comes from is this girl has... Oh my god, you okay, baby?
Yeah.
You want a drink of water?
Yeah.
You good? Okay. This girl, the one with the multiple personalities, she has 12 personalities. They think she has 13. I'm gonna get that in a second. But they all range just like your typical. Some of them are just innocent, childlike. Some of them are normal. Some of them are destructive. One of them likes to cut herself. That's her whole thing. But anyways, what happens is the third person or 13th personality is Isola is not technically one of her personalities. It's possession. She's being possessed by by outside forces, and I'll get to that in a second too. But that was the only time I was like, oh, that's kind of. I wasn't expecting that because you just assume. I either assumed the main girl had multiple personalities, maybe she was causing the murders, or it was just going to be straightforward fucking narrative, and it was just one of these personalities she has. But then the little side story here is there was these two doctors, scientists or whatever, and they're dealing with that sleep deprivation. And anyway, they're doing these experiments and everything. Well, during one of the experiments, that's when the earthquake hit, and the woman doctor, because the male doctor is what's helping the main girl with this case, if you will. during an earthquake, fucking shit falls and it crushes her inside the thing and she's dead. But while she was doing that sleep deprivation thing, like, she was having this, like, astral project, like, her body was just having an out-body experience. She was away from her body, and then I guess she just pissed off blaming the guy, like, because of the earthquake. I'm like, really? And he blames himself already, because he was like, I abandoned her. But it's like, dude, you couldn't do shit, dude. Like, literally, everything fell on her. She was dead. And I guess you got to give the main character a little bit of guilt, I guess. But then, like, she disagrees with him. She's like, yeah, you did leave me behind. I'm going to take my anger out on you. So she's kind of, but at the same time, she's going around just fucking killing people. Well, it is. She can't do it, I guess. I don't want to call her a ghost because, you know, technically, I guess they're saying like the body and soul are two different entities. They're together, but they're two different things. So whenever she left, her soul left, the body dies. She's not really a ghost. She's still living energy, but she needs a body to function. Well, this girl with multiple personalities, I guess she just slides right in, no problem. I guess, you know, if you got mental defects or whatever, you can inhabit the body. But that's what she did. She ends up going into this girl, you know, multiple personality. And her name is Isola because the 13th personality or whatever, because the tank she's in is an isolation tank. And the last thing she sees, which is so ridiculous, because you would think she would already know what the rest of the word is, but it's the first part of isolation. So, Isola. Yeah. Overall, it wasn't too bad. I watched it here on YouTube. I will give you guys a heads up. It wasn't too big of a deal because it's subtitled. Toward the finale, like I don't know, like with 20 minutes left to go, it's weird. My screen froze up, but the audio kept going, right? But then when the screen comes back on, it's a big delay. So like the audio is going way ahead. So you're seeing shit that's not matching up with what you're hearing. Now once again, it's not a big deal because it was subtitled. So you can just put the motherfucker on mute and pretend it's a silent movie, and you can the story plays out the same. But it was just kind of like, oh fuck, it became more of an inconvenience. And I didn't care, too much to try to hunt this thing down DVD and buy it because it was, like I said, it wasn't the worst thing I ever seen, but it was very mediocre. Which I'm not gonna lie, these past few Asian horrors seem to be very mediocre. So, but hey, that's good, I guess. Because for a while there, it was batting 100 on me, and I was like, they can't do no wrong. But past 2 weeks have proven otherwise. But I would only recommend it if you're just a diehard Asian horror fan. And I'm using the word horror very loosely because it's not really that scary at all. It's definitely more supernatural thriller, I guess you can say. But I don't know. If you're in the right mood, I guess, or if this story sounds interesting to you, I would say check it out. But yeah, that's Isola, Multiple Personality Girl. It has numerous titles. In fact, the link came up, Isola, Multiple Personality Girl, but when I clicked it, the actual title screen came up, Isola, like Persona 13. It's also known as something else. Anyway, there are like several titles for it. So, but there you go. So that's Isola. One of these, not the worst, not the best, but if you're in the right mood, I guess check it out. And up next, 2012, which I believe it was actually released in 2013, but whatever. Sinister. Fucking love me some Sinister now. In fact, that won our when we did the Phantom Movie Award. That was like our movie of the year right there. The basic premise is this
about this writer.
Now, no spoilers. Now you're bad about spoilers. You can't.
No.
This is recent. This is a new movie. You can't spoil it.
Okay, it's about this writer who is trying to write a book about these families that died, but one's missing. The girl missing. Yeah.
All right, not bad. And she's right. It's a true crime writer who. Well, he's writing his next book about a family that was murdered, and like she said, one of the girls went missing, the daughter. He moves into the house of the crime scene, right? And but then, of course, weird shit starts happening. This movie, when it came out, I remember seeing the trailer, and this is during the beginning, at least in my opinion, the beginning of like this supernatural horror ghost haunting cycle that we're in right now. It was started, in my opinion, with I guess Paranormal Activity, and then Insidious kind of took off with it and everything. So I remember when I first read it, didn't see a trailer, just read the concept. I was like, well, here's this another Insidious knockoff or whatever. And then I watched the trailer, and I was like, holy shit, like, this looks disturbing. Like, the trailer just looks so dark, and I was like, okay, I got it. And I actually went to the theaters and watched it. And it was literally one of the scariest movies I watched in theaters. All the jump scares worked on me. And once again, I usually hate jump scares for the sake of jump scares. But there is enough atmosphere and tension to where it doesn't seem like it's forced. You know what I mean? Like, it actually seems like it actually accompany the story and not just, we're walking in, no, something jumped out. No, something, no, it's actually, I don't know, it fits. The mood's right on this. The murders themselves, they're shot, on Super 8 cameras, the film and shit, and it just has that old grainy, like, I don't know, snuff film. I mean, that's what they are, snuff films. Like I say, he's trying to investigate this thing. Already the cops are against him because he wrote a book, his first book he wrote that was true crime. He eventually, solved this, case. The cops had it wrong or everything else. But then, I guess his next two, he got it wrong. And I guess the killers walked free. And so, he already has this stigma with him as he enters this town. So the cops pretty much let him know right off the bat they don't like him there, blah, 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 blah. So, he's moving in. He finds a box that has all these film cans in it. So then he goes ahead and starts watching them. And what it is, there is 5 or 6 of them. And they're all families who are getting killed. It starts off like home movie style, they're enjoying barbecue or there's a pool party or whatever. But then it cuts to them being killed, and they're all in pretty brutal ways. I don't want to say too much because this is a newer movie. I am sure anybody who's watching my channel has seen this. However, and that off chance you did not watch it, I highly recommend it. I will say, I think the impact is less because I did this with her twice now. Maybe 3 times. Insidious 2, did we watch this? Or not Insidious 2, but Insidious, the first one. Did we watch that here?
Yeah.
And you were just like it was okay, right? Like you didn't think it was too scary or whatever. See, I thought Insidious was really scary. I seen that on the small screen too. I watched that at home. But Sinister and Paranormal Activity 3, I watched both of them on the big screen.
Ooh, yeah, Paranormal Activity 3 was
and I remember thinking it was pretty scary.
I watched it with my friend.
Okay, not 3. Sorry, I watched 4 on the. Oh, I watched both of them on the big screen, I think, but I definitely watched 4 on the big screen. I remember thinking it was really scary, and then we get home and we're watching it, and I'm just like, it still has a creepiness. Maybe because I already knew what was coming up or whatever, but it just didn't play as well. And I remember when we watched Sinister, she thought it was, there's some part that was creepy, but overall she didn't think it was as scary as I did. But as you're watching the second, third time, it does kind of lose that suspense. I mean, once again, you've already seen it. But it was definitely, I remember as I watched it in theaters, I remember jumping hardcore a lot. There's one scene, and I'm just going to say the lawnmower scene, and it's not giving anything away because there's a snuff film that, he watches. It's like the last one, which I didn't quite get why he waits so long to watch that last one. Like, as far as the story goes, it makes sense because you're pacing out your scares or whatever. But it just seems like this guy who's writing this book, he would have watched all the films at once, but he doesn't. He spaces them out. Anyways, it just starts off like, because at this point you've seen all these other films, so you know what happens, you know the motif. So then it just cuts to it's someone watching through the window, this family, but then it just cuts to this rainy night, and someone starts up the lawnmower and they're going, and so it's all this is just shots of someone pushing a lawnmower and then just grass, and you're like, you know what's coming up. You know goddamn good and well that someone's going to pop up right there and he's going to run him over. And dude, when it happens, and I'm in theaters, I'm waiting for it. I know it's coming, and I still fucking jump. I jump right through the fucking roof. Scared the shit out of me, I ain't gonna lie. Watching the second time, I will say, certain things like that, they add in these yells, like these weird super, I'm like, he's watching on, this Super 8 thing. There was no sound to him to begin with. So, all you hear is the film going through a projector, but then when that scene comes up, you just hear the yell, and you're like, really? It's a cheat, but we'll let it slide because it is a very effective scene. In fact, I noticed that a lot. Watching the second time around, there's a lot of scenes that, yes, the jump scares are effective, I guess, but at the same time, there were a couple that were just like, there's one where the power goes out, and he's walking around, and he's, I guess the one where the power went out. There's 2 scenes where he's fucking just walking around, and each time you're like, dude, turn a fucking light on. The first time, though, I think it is the power to go out. So he's actually in the dark. But as he's walking, like a dead kid pops up. Jump scare noise, but he doesn't see him or see her. And you're just like, okay, jump scare worked, but it's like, it was clearly a jump scare for the audience and not for him, per se. And that whole sequence I thought was just kind of odd because it was just like he's walking around and you got all these dead kids popping out. But for no real reason, because once again, who are they benefiting? It's not for him, it's clearly for the audience. And then, I'm just going to say, I won't say the actual jump scare, but the last jump scare of the movie, if you've seen what I'm talking about, or if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. An unnecessary jump scene, because at this point the movie's over. The movie's done. The character, we're moving on. And yet, there's this one last jump scare, clearly just for the audience. And it works. In fact, last night, she went to bed. We were watching it, laying in bed watching it, and then she just, drifted off, went to bed. So, I'm sitting there, and I know it's coming. And I still jumped. And I was like, oh shit, motherfucker. Fuck you, movie. But yeah, no, overall, I think the atmosphere's creepy. Like I said, there's definitely some gaps in logic. Like I said, the first time the lights go out, he is walking around in the dark, but once again, there's no power. But the second and third time he's in this house, dude, it's like, turn a fucking light on. This dude, I can see the lamp over there. And he does. He just walks around with his flashlight. Granted, it looks great. The atmosphere is there, but at the same time, you're like, wouldn't I just turn the light on? Yeah, so I mean, it's just small things like that. Once again, that's just horror movies in general. It goes back to the girl running up the stairs, they run out the front door, or investigating the strange noise. I mean, it's just shit that you let slide because it's a horror movie. So, yeah, I will say, the look of the film is great. It looks dark, even during this bright sunny day. Like the moments where it's nice and sunny out, there's like sunlight shining through, and it is still the darkest fucking room ever. Like literally, it's just like, god damn, turn some lights on. Open up, get some big bay windows or something. I don't know. It's extremely dark. I like the acting in this. In fact, I wasn't really an Ethan Hawke fan before this movie. For no real reason. I just didn't really care for the movies he picked. I didn't think it was anything with him. I don't know, like Train Day was really hyped for me. Everybody's like, oh, Train Day's great. And then I watched it, I was like, no, it's really not. I'm sorry. It's just, it's one of these. And so maybe that was the reason I just wasn't a big Ethan Hawke fan. Everything else he did, I just didn't even bother with, or I just had no interest, whatever. But this movie, I'm just like, oh shit, he's actually a good actor. And then he's like The Purge after this, and I'm just like, holy shit, like he got some range there. The guy who plays Deputy So-and-so, which he's going to be, because Sinister 2, the trailer's already out, it's coming out, I believe, this year. The only character that comes over from the first one is Deputy So-and-so, and I really like that character. Because he comes across very goofy, but he has a heart of gold. Like, because what it is, once I said, the cops have completely turned their back on this guy. Like, they just said, fuck you. We don't want you here. So, But this cop is a huge fan. And he's like, I want to be your deputy so-and-so because, at the end of all his books, the acknowledgement. I got those words, some words I just can't say no matter how many times I try. But in that special thanks area, he's like, you always say, I couldn't have done this without Deputy So-and-so. And that becomes his name. Like, lyrics, they never say his name through the movie. I think in the credits, he's actually just listed as Deputy. So, I did, and of course, and all the Sinister 2 promo shit, they're, refer to him as Deputy So-and-so. So, but I really like that character. I just thought that was great. All the interaction between him and Ethan Hawke, I thought was really funny. But yeah, I mean, and Ethan Hawke, I don't know, he's likable in this. But he's very selfish. Like, you get the sense that, like, he's driven more by his work. But that goes back to, like, any haunted house possession movie. It's always like when dad's going a little nuts. He's not really being possessed. He's just obsessed with, getting, this book completed. But, of course, at this time, he's ignoring the family. He's just very distant and everything else. And as I'm watching, I guess last night, that's the first time I kind of noticed it, I guess. Like, the rest of the time, I've seen it 3 times now. And the other 2 times I watched it, I didn't really pay attention to that, I guess. But this time, it's like, wow, he's kind of a cold, uncaring father. But you feel like his heart is in the right place. He just wants to do right. He does want to provide. But at the same time, he also wants that glory and fame. Like, he wants to go back to where that first book took him, where he's doing, TV show circuits and everything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I give a big thumbs up. I highly recommend you guys check this out. It also has, And I believe she won our Best Supporting Actress for a Fan War too for this movie. Claire Foley, I think is her name. She also plays Poison Ivy on Gotham. And so weird, because before me, she was just a little weird girl in this movie. But now that I've watched Gotham and then rewatched her in it, I can't see anybody but Poison Ivy now. So, and I will say, I ain't getting away. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Looking forward to part 2. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's gonna be great. I think Mr. Boogie is or Bagul, whatever you want to call him, is a great villain, horror villain. I think he looks scary. You can get that for you, sweetie. Here you go. I think he's a great villain. I think he looks scary as shit. Like I said, all the jump scares are in this movie. They're just dead on. They're all effective. They're not just in there for the except for a couple. But once again, at that point, you're so amped up, and you're tense from watching it. That it just fits. But yeah, Sinister, check it out. Isola, multiple personality girl, probably not. All right, sweetie, got anything else to add? What did you think of Sinister? You just gave us the rundown, but you didn't watch it. You fell asleep last night, but you saw it before all the way through, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think of it? One of those, kind of slightly up, but okay. Any scenes you liked without giving anything away?
Nope.
Nope. I will say I think all the snuff films are really cool. I like the death scenes. Of course, the one that was in the trailer, so you guys already know this one, but the family being hung together was really fucking awesome. I love that. I thought this was kind of odd. I think like the ones that were more grotesque were the ones that he's watching. But there's one where like a family gets their throat slit. He just turns his head. And you're like, really? Like, nothing wrong, that's a horrible thing, but I feel like that's like of all the shit he's seen up to this point, that's the one he turns his head on. Like, I can't watch this one. This is so brutal, but, so yeah, check it out. Directed by Scott Derrickson, who, his name was in the mud a little bit because he did fucking, the Day the Earth Stood Still remake, but, for me, I always know him as the guy who did Exorcism of Emily Rose, and he did one of the Hellraisers, I believe part 5, which everybody shit on. I liked. I thought it was really good. Everybody's like, there wasn't enough Pinhead in that movie. Wasn't enough Pinhead in the first one. We didn't bitch about that, now did we? Alright. So, on behalf of my girlfriend Maya, I'm the Movie Phantom, and,